Hey, what's good? This Talk to Tron, your favorite producer, your favorite engineer. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why your mixes doesn't translate in all your environments that you listen to. Whether you in the studio, whether you in headphones, whether you in the car, whether you in AirPods or whatever. So it's like some main things that's the reason why your mixes are not translating, and it's all so simple. But I get it. I get it. I've been there before. Did trials and error of why these things doesn't translate, and it could be so simple. So today I got you. I'm gonna fix these mistakes so you can make sure when you go listen to your mixes in the studio, boom 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 is hitting. When you in the car, boom 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 is hitting. When you in the headphones, it's pleasant, but it still got that bass. It still got that whole feel. It don't feel weak. It don't feel dead. So the very first thing that we need to understand, guys, most of the time when producers, engineers, or even artists that record themselves, the very first thing that they kind of mess up with is they don't gain stage. What is gain staging? So gain staging is basically when you setting the volume, like you staging the mix. Like this is where you don't want the mix to get too hot or whatever. So this right here in the long run is gonna help you with your headroom. So a lot of times most people be complaining about their mixes being weak, it being flat, like it's not loud enough because you're not gain staging your mix. So a lot of times I like to gain stage my mix. I like to use a VU meter or whatever, and I like to put it at zero on VU. It can also translate to negative 18 dB. So it depends on what you use or whatever. I can drop some meters or something that I use in the comments so you guys can already know, or the description let you guys know what I like to use. So once again, you're not gain staging. It's always healthy to gain stage your mix. A lot of times, especially if you're getting YouTube beats or whatever, depending on the producer. Like they're mixing the beat super loud. They're putting a limiter or maximizer or something on the beat so you guys can enjoy the experience of the beat. So you can feel the 808, you can feel the kick, you can hear it loud because loud mean good. Not really, but that's what people perceive as. So let's gain stage your beats. A quick tip that I like to do, just because I mix a lot of songs, I record a lot of songs. A quick tip that I would recommend you is just to put your beat gain stage your beat at around negative 10 just for some safe range. I always go to negative 14 sometimes depending on the beats or whatever, depending on the producer. But I kind of know different producers. But negative 10 to negative 14, that will put you in a safe space to make sure that you're getting a great mix. So whatever, just recording, because a lot of times most people don't even have room for their vocals. Like they'll jump in, they'll just throw the beats into the session and record them. Like, hey, I can't hear my vocals. Of course, because you did not gain stage your beats. So I highly recommend for you to gain stage your beats, and now you have what we call headroom to record over. You have headroom to mix your beats in or whatever, mix your songs in. All right, so the next step I would recommend, and this is just gonna help you translate your mix. This is before we get to talking about EQ, cause compressor and all these things. So it's just three simple steps. If you guys follow this, I promise you, your mix will get better. I just turned 41 beats have changed. I need to check out your beats. I need to check out your beats. I definitely need to check it out. Or you understand how to mix it. The next one is it's different order. So we're going gain staging. The next one we're gonna be panning. All right, so I love panning because it's so simple. Like panning is basically where you want to place the instruments or whatever, like where you want to place them. Particular, I like my 808s. I like my kicks to be center. So this gonna kind of like take up the bulk of the mix. It's in the center, so it's like it's hitting boom, 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 boom. Everything else is gonna be built around it. Like for my vocals to be center as well, but my vocals is gonna be center, but it's gonna be a little out front. Then the kick or whatever. So we're gonna be. This is where you just gain stage in the mix. You got everything just coming in at a good, clean, green volume. So now when we panning, we placing these things, 808s and kicks in the middle, hi-hats kind of somewhere to the side a little bit, snares a little bit to the side a little bit. These instruments, the pianos, the guitar, they spread it a little bit. So all of these things is like kind of where you're gonna get your whip. You're gonna get like a when people say, hey, the mix is too thin or the mix ain't wide enough. I want a bigger mix. I want a bigger feel. A lot of time it just come from panning. We can also do this with delay or whatever reverb, but let's just stick to if we're not using the EQ. Let's stick to we're not using compression. Let's stick to we're not using any type of plugins. We just using basic fundamentals. So after we gain stage, we're gonna do some panning. So we're gonna carefully place all of these things. So now we got a mix that we can hear at a good volume. Everything seems like it just coming in green. It's coming in healthy. Then we started panning, and now things is gonna change. The mix is gonna get a little bit wilder. So now we got like, so the mix is like it's like this. We got everything level, so we can kind of, or gain stage, we can kind of hear everything that's coming in healthy. Now we got the mix getting wider. So now it's like, cool, we got a solid mix. We finna build a 3D mix just by using these 3 steps. After we do that, now we want to go back in and level. So gain staging is basically you just ensuring that everything come in at a healthy volume, at a green color, whatever. Sometimes you might push the red depending on if it's an 808 or kick or whatever, if you know what you're gonna do. Alright, so the panning, you just carefully placing this, getting the mix wide, but not too wide, because it depends on what you have. Now, if you get too wide, it's gonna sound weak. It's gonna sound thin in the middle. You never want that, because you still want it wide, but you want it cohesive. You want it blending together, so we don't have to over compress. We don't have to do all these things. Also, so now we going back to leveling. That's the third thing. So now when you level, now you got everything kind of like at a balance. You got it at a balance. Now when you level, you might move the 808 a little bit. You might move the kicks a little bit. Like this is kind of where you getting the volume at. So now you carefully leveling these things. You carefully getting a little boost here, a little boost here, a little boost here. And now we're not gonna have to rely on the limiter at the end. We're not gonna have to rely on pushing the mix so much, because now we're leveling these things to pretty much get a good mix. And by doing these things, your mix is gonna be able to translate, because once you gain stage, your low end, which is your 808s or your kicks, is not gonna take control of your mix. It's not gonna eat up your mix. So you got a balanced low end. Cool. Once you do that, now you got a level like the your mids. This is kind of where your vocals is gonna sit at. So now you got a balanced low end, the 808s, the kicks in, and you pushing up the vocals a little bit louder than the kicks of the 808. So now you got like the mids. Now they kind of feel warm, it kind of feel strong, it kind of feel whole. This kind of when the people want to hear the vocals, like the vocals don't seem too tucked back. And then when you kind of leveling the little hi-hats or whatever, the highs, you don't want it to be too high, but you want it to kind of be heard, but you kind of want it to be subtle. So when you follow these tricks or whatever, your mix is gonna easily translate. So remember, we just talking about you bringing in all your files in, starting at 0. We're gonna gain stage everything so it could come in at a healthy volume. So now our mix is not clipping, it's not distorting. All right, cool. Now we panning certain things to hear to make the mix a little bit wider, make the mix a little bit fuller, a little bit holder. Then after that, we're gonna go back in and level some of these things. Now we identify, okay, I want the 808 higher, I want the kick a little higher, I want the vocals a little bit louder, I want the snares turned down, I want the hi-hat snare turned down, I want the piano a little bit subtle, let me put it over here. So when you carefully placing these things, guys, like this is how you get a mix that translate from the studio in your headphones in the car. Like nothing is sounding flat, and you can go test these things. And I like to do these things sometimes, because if you just turn up the 808 or the kicks in the studio, boom boom boom, it sounds good. But then you might go to the car, your 808s and your kicks might be too loud that you can't even hear the piano, you can't hear the guitar, you can't hear these other sounds. So it's like a good translation. I also recommend that you do a lot of your leveling, you do a lot of your gain stage, and you do a lot of your panning and headphones. I recommend that because you have that closed in space, like you getting everything perfect. Then you go take a listen to the monitors, and when you take a listen to the monitors, like if it can translate from the headphones to your monitors, and like the 808 so the kicks don't sound overwhelming, it's gonna most likely translate into the car. So like this is like just the first step. Like this is just like basic foundation of mixing that most producers skip over, most artists, most engineers skip over. And like this is why their mixes are not translated. But I highly recommend that you use these tips. I highly recommend that you follow these things. Like you spend less